So let us talk about what is the KPI. We all know that key performance indicator. KPI means key performance indicator. There are three words are there. One is the key, another is the performance, another is the indicator. So it is going to tell us about indicate about the performance of a organization or a team or an individual also. What is this KPI is? The definition that people have said about this is a set of quantifiable measures. There's a quantifiable measures will be there. Measures or metrics, both are the same. We are going to quantify them and we are going to see how effectively that we are going. KPIs will talk about the progress. KPIs will talk about not only the end results, right? It talks about the progress, how well we are going about this, right? In achieving any business objective or any business context must be there for us to keep the KPIs for this. And this is for a particular period of time, right? This is what is the typical definition of the KPI we can say for that. Then when you are thinking about the KPIs, especially they are the milestones we are going to they are going to indicate about the milestones, how far that you have progressed, right? Whether you are going in a right direction, right speed and everything, are we in the right direction or not? It indicates the progress. So by that we can get to know that what is to be done, right? So this is about the to understand the KPIs in this aspect. So why we are talking about the KPIs framework and all these things today? Why we are talking about developing of KPIs? So earlier when we are talking about the performance evaluation or to identify whether we are performing it right or not, either for an organization or a team or an individual also. So we need to have proper mechanism must be there. There are many umpteen number of performance evaluation methodologies have come right from the 3rd century onwards. Right? It's a long back story. So now we are in a very fast and modern based era where we are talking about the performance part. Right? So there are different kinds of models that have been developed. Most of them are observable, and the managers who are giving or any top level bosses are giving some kind of aspects, and mostly these things are indicating the organization's performance, whether the turnover is there or not, whether we reach the profits or not. So likewise, only at a specific level that we are using the KPIs. But today there is a to take any kind of a decisions in this business complexity has increased, right? There are different kinds of challenges that are coming in the business. Competition has increased a lot. So taking right decisions is very important. In decision making, people used to do any senior person or experienced person used to declare or decide about a particular thing, how to go about it. That is what they used to do. And I mean, there is a bandwidth is there for the business also. There is a room for some kind of assumptions, and some kind of a failure is also 50% failure is also fine with them at that time. But today we cannot afford to have such kind of a failures, and we need to be very meticulous. And this can happen only with the data. Data driven and fact driven evaluations are very important, and companies are also expecting the same thing from the HR people, right? Anybody who is handling the departments also, they have to give the right kind of inputs and the data. So where is the evidence? How can you say that? Your gut feelings, your opinions, your judgments, your observations doesn't do any value. You need to talk with the data itself, right? So when it comes to, so there is a need has come to calculate or to see the things in a very quantifiable measures that we need to see and wants to see the data. So data analytics have increased, and especially the data analytics have entered into the HR arena, and now we are talking about the HR analytics. And HR analytics are also very much, I mean, it has come to our little away from the tables today, but soon they are coming to be on our tables, and we are going to be responsible for the HR analytics also. That is where the KPIs will talk much sense, and they'll provide you the right kind of things. Why? Because KPIs are, they talk, the numbers will talk about the truth. What is the truth? That we are going to get to know about this. Second thing is they provide the direction where you are heading towards. What is the path you are taking and where you are heading towards your business goals? As I told you, there should be a business context for every activity that we are doing. It needs to add value to the business goals. Otherwise, nobody is going to be there in the organizations permanently. Long term is also not possible. That's where more turnover is happening, and we are seeing that most of the people are being senior people are also being asked to move away from the system, right? May not be directly the pink slips, but there is a pressure to put down the papers and other things, right? So that is where you will get to know that you can check the direction every now and then whether we are going towards the business goals or not. Then we can be more sure shot of our jobs, especially people who are doing the HR jobs, right? And these KPIs will provide a clear picture where you are standing, the position where you are into right now during the your suppose there is a cycle of 1 year that you have taken, right? And there is a quarter was over. So where you are standing actually, there are 3 more quarters are there where you can change your course of action, and so that you can see where you are standing, the position that you are going to know. One is the direction, another is the position. Then it will tell you about the speed with which you are moving. What is the speed with which you are moving towards your goals? Is it enough? Is it not enough? Are you lagging? Are you leading where you are going actually? So that is where you will get to know about the speed when we are taking up this KPIs framework. Then it clarifies the role of everyone, the role. So there are people who are independent contributors are there. There are people who are in the part of the process or in the process they are into, right? And there are people who are going to be the only the coordination activities that people might be doing it. So there are 3 classes of the jobs that people might be doing it, and what is the role that you are playing in that. That is also KPIs will tell you whether the coordination is happening better or not, whether you are an independent contributor, the numbers are meeting or not. So everything is quantifiable and everything can be taken in an objective way. Earlier, there is an assumption that how the qualitative aspects can be taken into the objectified kind of things, right? Today, the KPIs factor will definitely resolve that particular problem of qualitative parameters also can be objectively we can see from the numbers with the numbers part of it. And we're going to talk about they'll provide something for the to strive for the purpose. It will tell you the most important thing is what is the purpose, why I'm doing this. Of course I'm asked to do this, but why I'm supposed to do this. Even as a managers or leaders, even today or tomorrow, you are going to talk about the purpose for which the people are working for. Unless until you don't derive for that, it won't come. So it drives the purpose also. So that is where we have to this era is moving towards the KPIs framework, not from the traditional performance evaluation models, or to identify the performance whether we reach that particular stage or not. So the numbers will talk more sense now. Okay. Now let's talk about the types of KPIs. What are the different types of KPIs are there? There are 4 different models. I mean, you can say 5 typically. So there are types of KPIs are there. KPIs, when it comes to the organization, even organizations also will have a key performance indicator. Organization as a whole, it need to perform, right? It has to reach to its goals. So these KPIs can be called as a high level KPIs or otherwise a strategic. Strategic are the long-term vision and the long-term goals or the objectives. Whether we're going to reach to that particular level or not. Whether this parabola will reach there after 5 years or after 3 years, whether it goes to that extent or not. As I told you, KPIs will tell you about the speed, the position, as well as the direction, right? So all these things will lead to, we get to know about the high level KPIs that we fix for the organization, like turnover, or the sales, or the revenues, or the new product lines, or the new geographies that we would like to reach to. So these KPIs, strategic KPIs will talk about that, and this will tell you where you are standing and whether you are in the right direction, right progress. It will tell about the progress of it. Like you can see the example on the screen, the market share, revenue growth, return on investment are some examples for the KPIs at the org level, high level. So you cannot say that at an individual level or at a team level, you cannot derive them. But from that, you can derive the team, you can derive the peoples also. So it comes from the top to bottom, right? Right. Now, let's see the functional KPIs. These functional KPIs are very specific to individual departments and the functions within, or you can say teams, right? What is the market? Suppose there is a marketing team is there. There's a production team is there. There is a HR team is there. There is a finance team is there. There is a digital marketing team is there. Or services areas, customer care. There are many functions are there. So there are certain activities or the functions that every department has to do, and every department need to reach to their department level goals, right? And those are all interrelated to the organization, right? Because they are being derived from the organizational goals itself, right? So these functional KPIs will tell about the progress of those goals, or about the operational activities or the functions part of it. So these are all department level insights. It will talk about it. So example is a sales conversion rate, or on-time delivery, or customer satisfaction, or production lines, or whatever that we are meeting or not. In HR, you can talk about the recruitment, cost per hire, right? How many people have joined? What is the attrition rates, engagement levels? There are certain indicators that we can get to know the success of that particular department in that particular organization. We'll get to know about it, right? The two things were happened. So strategic KPIs, functional KPIs. Now the operational KPIs will come to that. These are all very, you can say that it is at the task level, task oriented, further deep dive. Day-to-day activities, these will focus upon. So every day that we are adding a value to, or we are progressing towards the goals, our business goals, or our department goals, or our organizational goals, whatever are there. So the action happens here. That is from the individual levels, to see that whether the people are reaching to that level or not. So this is the gauging of the performance of a individual, almost you can say individual level and all, because people are related to operations very closely. So customer acquisition rate, production cycle time, customer retention rate, employee productivity, as I told you, number of hires, hiring rate, how it is, right? How many people you could retain from the HR perspective. Sales or cost saving from the finance and accounts people. What is the cost saving? What is the revenue collection kind of things? So like that, every department can have a deeper individual level or job role level KPIs also can be taken into. So strategic high level, department level, or you can say the functional level or a unit level, and operational KPIs for the individual level, they'll come into. And there are two more types of KPIs are there. They are called leading KPIs, which can be called as a predictive KPIs, and there is a lagging also. Leading KPIs means they are forward-looking indicators. That is for the future performance. Suppose I wish to improve the sales by 10%, or I wish to hire these many number of people by this time. So previously, they are very much futuristic and very proactive insights that we need to identify. So are we going towards that or not? There are post-mortem, there are lagging things are also there, which are where you can see for that. But these are all predictive. This is for the future or forward-looking and expectations towards the future part of it. Like what could be the number of leads that can be generated, right? So what are the upcoming skill enhancements that we can do, right? So these things can give you the predictive KPIs, more or less, like you can keep them as a goals or a futuristic kind of things to enhance or to improve our from the current level to the next level, right? That is seeing towards the future. There are certain KPIs other which are outcome based KPIs, which are called lagging KPIs. These are all historical, or you can say what happened actually, and what was the, say suppose there is a recruitment drive that you have conducted. What is the success rate of that particular drive? How many people have turned up? How many people have got selected? How many are there in the pipeline? So all these things that you can see, and these outcomes are these KPIs are called lagging KPIs, right? What is the customer churn rate? You can say from the marketing side and sales side. Revenue for the previous quarter, employee turnover rate. So we are going to talk about the attrition rate. Means what is the current attrition rate? That means you need to back calculate, take the data from the history or the backend from today to back, and you will calculate, take the data, and you'll try to identify what is the performance indicators where we have stood actually, so previously. So now based on that, whether you have to continue the same speed or you want to increase the speed or you want to go beyond leaps and bounds and all, what is the new kind of things that you are going to do? So the KPIs cannot be standard for any particular department or an individual or for an organization. They'll keep on changing. So that's where we need to maintain the repository. And you can choose the, suppose marketing department is there, they'll have certain repository. HR, there is a repository. So wherever that is required for you to verify the data points or to see those things and all, then you can pick out those KPIs and apply for that particular period and can see what is the results that are coming into. Got it? So this is about the types of KPIs that we can talk about it. Now let's talk about the third important aspect. First is the basics that we talked about. Next is the types of things that we have seen, and now we are going to talk about the HR, performance from the different perspectives that we need to see. This is a very crux and very important segment. I wish all of you to please focus on this. And if you have any questions, and please put it across in the chat. I will answer at the Q&A session. We would like to keep Q&A session because this is a workshop. We would like to keep more time for the Q&A session, right? Quickly, I would like to provide the insights to you, and then we'll move on to the question and answer session, and we'll spend a good time over there to take the best out of it. Now, let me see. Let me show you that. There, before getting into this slide part of it, let me tell you, the performance need to be defined in any organization. Most of the times what happens is people don't talk about the what is the definition of the performance. Most of the companies, what they are doing is they're downloading some or the other parameters from the internet or from the Google, and they would like to apply to them. It's like, it needs to be tailor-made. It need not be like, just take out from the net and you try to identify those things, and that will give you a different perspective, camouflaged, or you can say paradoxical information that will give it to you. That is not right or a truth for you. So that's where we, even experts from the HR fraternity, also suggest that you need to define the performance in your organization. What is performance means? What is the performance means to you? Lavanya, can you please put me off from the co-host?
Yeah. Wait a moment. I mean, if you are not kept in, then you may not be able to share the screen, Ram.
Acha, okay, right. Then keep it, no problem.
Okay, just wait.
So, sorry, let's get into the definition of the performance. Have you ever defined the performance in your organization? If at all we are not done so far, we need to define the performance for the organization. What is the performance means, and in what way that we would like to see, right? It immediately that comes into our mind that of course we are taking some kind of the goal setting or something else that we are talking about it. But much before that, we need to learn, or we need to know certain things, actually the perspectives from the organization. We need to keep our compass in a right way. So this is the exercise that I'm going to tell it to you. You need to do that, but I would like to provide you the insights about it. So in any organization set, there are there are two perspectives of the one is from the organization level, one is from the individual level. Organization expects something from the performance of the employees, and employees also will expect a certain kind of performance. Nobody wants to be poor performer. Nobody wants to be average performer. Every time, everybody would like to be starts their new job with a lot of hope and wants to succeed in their dreams. Actually, they would like to do that, but ultimately it ends up with a very resentment, a very negative or disheartening way that people will leave the organizations. Where is the difference it is coming? Because there is no understanding of the performance from the org level. The perspectives need to be understood. Great. In light of the KPI structure, the new era of evaluations, performance evaluations that we are holding it. So the kind of the KPI structure, we need to identify the org level performance part of it. Ultimately, what the organization will look at it.
Fine. If any need is required, then you just let me know. We can support it.
Right. Please mute yourself, all of you, please. So from the organization perspective, the performance means at the end of the day, we would like to see the result in a very concisely, very specifically that we come to. Ultimately, the bottom line is the cost or the cost versus revenue per employee is the organization's lookout, right? So if you see, typically when you want to become a HR business partner, when you are talking about partnering in the business, and when you want to see from the people's angle, this is the ultimate KPI that you need to see is cost versus revenue per employee should be positive. Then only we can recover the cost, and some revenues will be there for the continuity of it. So most of the organizations were couldn't see this in a right way and couldn't communicate this to the employees and all. So this has become, many of the organizations have failed in their models in terms of it, right? So whenever the organization looks at this, basically organization comes from the goals driven approach, that is from the top to down approach it will come. Suppose take this pyramid as an organization, see to that it has three slices. One is the top level management, or at the org level or a top level management will be there on the top, and mid level is the department level people and the managers and mid level managers will be there, and at the bottom people are working class will be there. So that's where when you see from the KPIs angle also, at org level there will be strategic KPIs, which already we discussed about it. Department level KPIs, so there is a mid-level kind of things, functional KPIs and the unit level KPIs will be there, and individual level at the operational level KPIs part. So we need to come from the top to bottom. Now let us see what is the top looks at. Top always looks at the results or the outcomes. I don't mind whether the person is coming or working from home or coming to office or discipline is there or not. Or these are all comes. People can take care of it. These are important. But at the end, whether this person is, even though everything is fine, but still the person is not able to give the results per employee basis, then it is very costly for the organization to keep. Right or not? So that's why companies will ask the people to move on. So the results or the outcomes are very important from the organization side. Otherwise, organizations will lose their purpose and lose financially and from the other different angles also, and companies' graph will come down over a period of time. You know, one important fact, if you can see, there are 1500 to 2000 companies will get registered in Hyderabad register of companies actually, ROC. But after 1 year, there are most of the, not even 10% of the companies are still continuing about those things. And even lesser companies will continue for 3 years and 5 years and 10 years also. Very less percentage of things will be there, because people are not organizing themselves. I'm not talking about the suitcase companies and the, for different purposes that companies have been evolved and they are not operational. I'm talking about the people who commenced their businesses, got registered and commenced their businesses, are not able to continue because they don't have the right kind of a vision. Even we are working very closely with the startups and MSMEs, and we know this fact very well. So that's where we drive people towards the, right from the beginning itself, from the employee's perspective, from the HR perspective, the cost and revenue part that we would like to make them to watch actually. Now, coming to the mid-level people, what they will look at it, what they are supposed to contribute to get the performance from the people. They are being assigned to monitor the people, their teams, their departments basically. So they need to maintain the performance track sheets, right? They need to see to that right from the beginning. What is the purpose of this particular department? What are the KPIs of this particular department, the functional KPIs? And the heads or the senior managers holds this particular responsibility, and they'll monitor constantly and watching these numbers. And whenever there is the numbers are depleting, what is the reasons and where the things are not happening, so they can go deep dive into the ground level realities and wants to correct them. Right? Where they will correct, they'll correct the people actually, because people have to hold those tasks, right? So they need to provide the guidance as well as mentoring also. Right? So this is the responsibility that mid-level people or the department level people will take care of it. So they'll guide and they'll mentor the people. They'll also see the employee skill matrix they'll maintain. What is the employee skills they need to have to perform their jobs in a better way? Is there any gaps? Let us figure it out and let's close those gaps in other things. So that is where the functional KPIs will focus towards these kind of metrics and these kind of whatever the things that are not happening, actually the gaps whatever are there. So that's how they'll support the strategic KPIs. When it comes to the individuals part of it, individuals are concerned about their would like to have a clarity towards their job role. Understand? I would like to, as an employee, as an individual employee, when I assigned with some operational KPIs or some kind of a job being given with a good compensation part of it. So I would like to understand the job role definition must be very clear. It should not be mixing and matching. There are certain things will be there which can be additionally being given. It is not limited, but or it is not complete or something. It is much more additional things might come, but there is a limitations or start point, end point of the job role will be there basically. So that definition must be made very clear. Even I, in my experience of this total almost 20-22 years of experience, I've seen that the job roles are not clearly been articulated or documented or something. It is not there. So job roles still people are getting confused. So we couldn't solve the problems of earlier days. Whatever the basic problems itself were not being solved by many of the companies. That's where a lot of confusion is getting created. Of course, there is a business complexity. Of course, there is an emergencies. Of course, there is a lot of uncertainties there. But still, you can figure out at the individual level there could be some kind of a some limits that we can put it across. That's where the HR people will play a lot of vital role in terms of devising the job roles. If at all you haven't done any kind of a job roles in your organizations, those things were not been fixed actually, please do that immediately. We can also help you in that. Then comes the expectations. People give the tasks, but they'll not tell about the expectations. What is the outcomes that I need to derive out of this? I have a clarity about the expectation from this workshop. So what is that the outcome that we would like to bring in? We are very much clear about this. All 30 odd people are there here. So we are all having such kind of expectations. Clarity is a must actually. So then what happens is tomorrow the people will not get any kind of a blame game will not be there, right? You might have told me in the beginning, people, managers will say that it is obvious, you might have understood by this time, you have a previous experience, this is what is expected by anybody. People will say that this is obvious. But we say that make the expectations very clear whenever you are assigning any kind of a task or any task that people are taking up as a managers, that we need to monitor them. Make the expectations clearly, job roles and expectations very clearly. And third thing is they can do their performance in a better way when they know the best practices. Otherwise they'll waste more time in terms of whatever they know, whatever the style they adopted in their previous companies or whatever they understood. Actually they'll try to implement and experiment with us in our environment. But in an organization set, we might not have that much of time to experiment with us. Only certain things like creative or any research oriented or any previously not done anything is there. Those things that you can do the trial and error method or experiments, you can do that. But when things have been already been proven, recruitments were being proven, and the people are joining with us from the top institutions, then the best practices need to get continued. That cannot be trial and error method, right? So at the job level, at the task level, what are the best practices are there? Try to derive them. Try to put it across against the job roles. Then make this the person who is joining with you in that particular role, make it very clear. If at all any training is required, please do that so that they'll be more. You need not monitor much actually. You need not do that. Very minimal monitoring, they can bring in the results to you. You can monitor, you can give a little guidance and mentoring part of it. They will do the performance much better actually. That drives the results of the organization. So from the organization perspective, the three segments need to go in this fashion, right? So this is at the performance need to be understood in this particular perspective. That is very important. Got it? Now, let us see the second side of the coin. That is what an employee is looking at, right? Employee level, there are certain influencers are there from the employee level performance. The person understands that this is the job that I am supposed to do. I'll do that right? I'll get an increment. Every time if you see, I've seen so many performance appraisal feedbacks or any discussions that are happening. People will say that I have done whatever I'm supposed to do. So in their managers' expectations are something different. That is where the performance clash will come. So people, whatever they are thinking, they have done their job well, actually, right? But have they done to their fullest extent or to their fullest potential? That is where the question comes in. So employee level, there are certain influences are there for the performance part of it. Ultimately, what is that a person need to look into, or from the person's perspective, is the results or the productivity, whatever we call from the each job role. What is called the productivity definition changes. What is the outcomes actually that needs to be there. So that is what an employee per employee wise that is what we need to see. Whether this person comes under a good performance category, right, average performance category, or excellent performance category, or outstanding performance category. That is what an employee wants to look into that, right? So that is where people are so eager to know about the feedback about their performances also. But let us see this. So this is a more of action oriented approach. From the organization, we are understanding the performance from the very strategic level and the goal level, goals driven approach. Now this is at the action level approach, and this will have from the bottom to top. That is what we need to view. The similar kind of pyramid will come. Okay. Wait a second. Right. So similar pyramid will be there. Now this is an employee. Okay, understand this pyramid is an employee, and there are three slices are there where the work level influence or the performance level influences will be there in the three categories. There is effort, efficiency, and the effectiveness. These three things are there in the employee itself, in a person itself. So now we have to see from the bottom. Let us see what is an effort dimension that we need to understand for the performance. What is this influences? There are three elements are there again in this. One is the time. What is the total work hours that you are investing? Because without investing the proper amount of the time, you cannot expect the performance to come. The time dimension need to be seen, right? That's where we have taken the organization. There is a 8 hours, 9 hours, or whatever the time that we have taken, right? So that is very important, and especially in terms of the work from home concept, this time, the concept has been changed a lot. It has become, been seen in a very different perspectives, and different arguments and different viewpoints are coming from this perspective about the time, right? So whatever might be the things, actually, what is the total number of work hours that you will invest in the job, right? It is directly proportionate to the performance of an individual or the productivity of an individual, right? Then the person, it's not enough the person has to be on the in the office or on the work desk. That is not enough. You need to work on that. Seeing at the screens or viewing something else actually, or not working, doesn't make any sense actually. So the person who is coming to office is not enough. It is to execution of the work is also very important, right? So whether the work is moving or not, that is what this factor will talk about it. They need to keep some energy and to make the work move forward. So not only just a time and spending and doing some kind of a work, but there should be some kind of a focus must be there. Then only the results will come. People have spent time, people have kept their energies and all, but still performance is not coming. Why? Because at the individual level at the bottom, they're not focusing on the work. Any work that which is going to happen for 1 hour, it may take 3 hours, it may take 5 hours, almost a day also. Why? It is not about anything else except they are not able to put the focus towards that. So the focus dimension need to be changed into it, right? That is what is to be diagnosed properly. Then comes the efficiency part of it. Efficiency actually takes two dimensions will be there. One is the knowledge, that is application of the learned knowledge. So whatever you have learned, you should be able to apply. Then only the efficiency will come. I know how to check, how to source the profiles from Naukri. That I learned, right? Boolean search or whatever the different kinds of searches that I have learned about it, but I'm not applying it. Then I know a lot of formulas in Excel, but I'm not applying it. Then I'll not get the performance. I'll not get the works done or tasks done. So anything that you have learned, that's where the learnings are coming now in a micro level learnings also. The YouTube and other whatever the data that you are consuming on how to kind of things and all. This is what is the knowledge that you are accumulating at the micro level, bite size, as well as you are taking it from the training programs or might be from your experiences. Right? You have experimented, you succeeded in those things, and you got some kind of knowledge. Apply them. Application must be there from the employee side of it, then the works will move forward for that. Then comes the technology aspect. So there is a usage of tools and technologies. I have a Microsoft apps are there, Google apps are there now. The chat GPT and other AI related apps are also coming into to make my work faster and more accurate, less dependent on, I mean, less number of mistakes and other things. So that's where I need to use the technology, right or not? So that is where people have to use the tools and technologies. Then the efficiencies will increase, organization's time will be saved, and organization's performance ultimately increases. Organization performance is nothing but the people's performance. So in one of the one of my previous experiences in one of the companies is, people are doing good, but overall organization couldn't reach its objectives. How it is possible? How it is possible? When the people are doing at their best and people are being rated as good, organization obviously will become a good performance level. It must be there, right or not? So people were being identified as good performers, but the organization is by seeing the numbers and its ultimate effectiveness part of it, whatever the production or the productivity, or you can say, right, those results, those are not fitting into, right? That's how it is. So finally it comes to the effectiveness. Effectiveness is the positive impact you could create from the current level to the next level in the expected way. That is what is called a performance at the individual level, right? From the current level to the next level, people, the expected level that people have taken up the particular task to be done, that is what is called a performance. The value you have derived over a period of time. If that is not there, ultimately whatever the time you spent or focus or knowledge or technology, whatever that you have used, it is obsolete actually. So organizations now realize that they would like to calculate these things in a quantitative measures, not on an observation model, not at all on a manager's bias or something, and somebody's judgments or something or opinions based on that. People don't want to put a chapa onto you or any kind of a make a mark onto your performance part of it. They would like to see the evidence, they would like to see the numbers, they would like to see the data, they would like to see the facts. That is where the KPIs will come into picture, right? Hope I'm clear with this. I just want to take 5 minutes to discuss with you all, to interact with you all on what is this, what do you take on this particular thing. Do you have any questions or comments or any feedback you would like to see on this? Quickly can unmute yourself and can
I think some questions are there in the chat box.
No, I'm not talking about those questions. I mean, regarding this particular thing, anybody wants to say anything?
It's clear.
Actually,
Yeah, absolutely.
one thing from my side, that if we want to make it in a numeric value, if we want to measure it, like the energy or the focus, if any KPI is set on this particular area, how can we measure it in a numeric value?
Definitely. We are going to talk about those measures. Now we are talking about the perspective to understand the performance. This is what is the dimension that we would like to show it to you. That is these two slides are majorly focused upon. The measurement part, or what are the different kinds of measures or indicators, will tell you whether these things are happening or not. That is what we are going to talk about.
Okay, thank you.
May not be directly from this perspective, like time itself. You can calculate from the time, number of hours that they have spent at office, right? And vis-a-vis what is the performance they are supposed to bring in and what they have brought in. So the difference that we can see, the gaps that we can see for that. may not be directly you can apply to them. That's where the KPIs repository will be there, but you need to select the right measures so that you would like to apply for the performance of an individual or any context, organizational or teams. You can take that context of.
How
All right,
to
thank you.
yeah, basically how to make sure that this KPIs, we are talking about quantitative, but now the organizations are shifting towards the qualitative, because even there are certain organizations getting rid of performance rating itself, right there. So how we can make sure that qualitative things are more effective and basically fruitful in terms of measuring the KPIs, because quantitative is easy to measure, we have some numbers, but when it comes to qualitative, it's very difficult to judge someone based on the performance basis.
All right. Thank you, Bharat, for this question. So most of the organizations are deriving, there are certain code of conduct and there are certain kind of qualitative aspects of work, through work ethics and the behavioral part as well. Work quality in the work is also can be measured these days, and they can be fit into the KPIs, whatever that you are selecting, which we are going to discuss further now. So which will come into those things, right? So when you are talking about the quality, which is already, see, what is the definition of the quality? What is the definition of the performance here? Which is the performance itself here is the both qualitative and quantitative. Both the things will come into picture as a defined as a performance. That's what I said. You are sitting the time that you can calculate, but when the work is not happening, then the quality is getting hampered. Right or not? So it is all driven based on the values. The performed values will tell you whether you are qualitative or not. Suppose there is a production, if you can take, I think you can relate very easily. The number of hours that you have spent, right? Say suppose how many minutes are the hours that you are spending in producing certain number of units actually, right? When there is a defect pieces will come, 1% or 2% or whatever it is. So if you are looking at those things and all, how can you
Nagaraj,
that is the quality aspect
Nagaraj
of
leave
it.
and
You can
message
reduce the.
పెట్టాడు.
Sorry.
Please continue. Please continue. Somebody is
Yeah. So when there is a defect pieces are there, that talks about the quality, right? So it is inherently been incorporated in the KPIs that you are selecting. When it comes to the suitable profile rate, suppose from the recruitment perspective, let us try to understand that. I think most of the people are from HR, I believe. So recruitments, when you are selecting the people and how many suitable profiles, I mean, receiving the number of profiles is one quantity is one area. So by putting the advertisements and going to the different job boards and Naukris and other things and all, taking the profiles pool that you are making it out. But how much that particular profile pool is suitable to your requirement is a qualitative measure. And when you are fixing the KPI, when you are saying that what is the ratio of the qualitative profiles, that itself contains the quantity as well as the quality also. So now today, it is very much easy for us. I mean, not easy in the sense, the dimensions when we have taken, it is very much possible for us. Not easy. I can say it is very much possible for us to incorporate such kind of a KPIs. That is what we are going to talk about right now. So those things will contain the quantitative and qualitative. Both things will be there that can be measured. So that's where people are moving towards from the traditional evaluation of the performances from the organization, from the teams as well as individuals also, to KPIs framework. That is the context. That is where we are here actually to learn about these things, which is the most the futuristic kind of things we are taking right now. Great. Thank you, Bharat. So anybody, anything, one quick question on this, the performance dimension?
So if I understand correctly, basically we have to always see the quality versus quantity correlation in terms of measuring the actual performance. We cannot live only quality or only quantity will not have the right measure.
Will not have that, because the performance or the output which will be valued by the market from our business is both quality and quantity.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about those measures. There are other two dimensions are also there. There's a time and cost are also there, which we are going to talk about right now.
Sure, sir. Yeah.
You'll understand that. Okay, great. Thank you so much for this interactive session, and please mute yourself. Now let's go to the next part is this is how the KPIs look like. There are different departments that I have taken, right? And people are the managers who are all there. They are the responsible people for the owners of those particular KPIs. So if you can see from the production side of it, delivery on time is very important. On time delivery is very important. Delivering is a quantitative aspect, but on time delivery is the qualitative measure is also there in that. So that is where the customer satisfaction will come. So number of orders delivered on time divided by total number of orders, whatever that we got. What is the percentage that we are having is a measure for that particular department. For the matter of fact, that is the department heads KPI you can say about it, right? So that is one KPI we can call. This is how the KPIs look like. These are all quantitative measures which are there in the percentages, right? Numbers, percentages, averages, right? So all these things will be there into that. Numerically, that we'll try to figure it out and we'll try to identify. So because this itself is the truth, this itself is the ground level reality, not an assumption. So what is that? Deliveries are happening on time? Sir, it is happening on time. Doesn't make any sense. Yes, sir. In this today's particular total number of deliveries, these many have come, out of which these are all on time, and these are all 1 or 2%, or maybe 2-3 deliveries got delayed because of so and so other things. Can we take any measures? Our decision making becomes very easy for us. Can we make any measures so that these delayed deliveries also can be eradicated, can be stopped, so that we are maturing every now and then from you can say from day to day, from the quarter to quarter, from the year to year, we can mature in that particular activity. We become pros, professionals in that particular area. Second thing comes is the overall equipment effectiveness is one of the most commonly measured in the production manufacturing units is overall equipment effectiveness, right? Whether the overall equipment effectiveness is coming on that or not, that is what people would like to see, that this will be expressed in terms of the percentage also. So availability means it is the time, how long that the production machinery or the people available aspect is there, how much the production has happened or production downtimes are there, right? Those things will be taken care, and the quality of the units with how many defects have come. So these three things will be taken on a percentages part of it, and again averages part of it, and then they can be taken to the percentage. The overall equipment effectiveness will come. So that itself says that the available resources were being used, put to use to create the value in a right way or not. If it is coming to 80% or something, suppose our target is 95, what else can be done? Any changes that we can do in the time, that is the decision making which I can make it out. The production lines, the production breakdown time, machinery breakdown time that I can reduce, or number of defects that I can, more training can be given to the individuals or the workers at that particular level. Can we reduce the number of defects so that the percentage or the effectiveness of the overall equipment can increase? So you are taking a decision, right or not? So this is making it possible only through KPIs. Not by observations, not by any other things, any other means. Key performance indicators will give you the exact where you are standing, the position, the direction, the speed, right? The purpose, right or not? So all these things KPIs are enabling now. When it comes to the project manager, maybe you can say in an IT industry or something. Production is the manufacturing, and the project manager in the IT industry. Scheduled variance or a scheduled performance index, whatever is there. So within that particular, generally what happens is these are all the billable resources will be there. The project will be funded by the progress of it. So what is the earned value by the planned value? What is the schedules that we have taken? How much variance that we got? Are we going in the right speed at the right level? And what is that is promised being delivered or not? That is what will be checked it out. So scheduled performance index SPI is equal to earned values divided by the planned values. What is that we have planned and what is that we earned, right? Any variance is there. If it is the same, well and good. If it is below, then do some kind of a correction. If it is going overboard, fantastic. Actually, we are doing more than expected. As well, the cost performance index also. If you are delaying by the time, your project cost is increasing. Right? Any project you have taken it up, within 30 days you are supposed to do, or 6 weeks you are supposed to do, or 2 months, 3 months, whatever the time period is there. If you are utilizing the time in a right way, and you are dividing the costs or the budgets into it, and you are utilizing those resources, but the resources are underperforming, then the load comes under the cost. Every software engineer who has to do, supposed to complete the number of lines of code with defect free, then that is what that is where your cost is being earned, because that is what the your customer will pay for you. Suppose you are increasing the rework, I don't know, but most of the cases in my experience with the IT companies, and when even with my clients also, because of this scheduled variance will happen because of the rework. In one survey that we got to understand that 66.7%, almost 2/3 of the activities that people are doing the rework only, not the scheduled work. So there is something went defective, which didn't planned or which didn't expected, right? So many number of times those things are occurring, and at every employee level, every software engineer level, these things are happening. So what is happening is the delay is getting accumulated, the rework is getting accumulated. So the price, whatever that you are taking, or the monies that you are taking from the customer for the time period that you are taking, the same amount customer will give you. He will not increase even 1 rupee, but you are delaying it and you are taking the brunt. Actually, the per hour basis, whatever the cost that we are supposed to recover will not come to us. That's where the cost variance will come. Schedule variance related to time, cost variance is related to finances, project finances. So what is the cost performance index? Is the earned value versus actual cost. It is always, in most of the companies, it is always on negative side. So the costs are increasing, right? When it comes to marketing, any organization for the matter of fact, but the marketing department, if you can take, it is a functional KPI that we can see. What is the market share? When we, this is what is a calculation that we do. KPIs looks like this. KPIs are not just like, some words or whether you reached it or not by observation or something. No, it is a quantitative measure about the progress. Anytime you apply this and you can see that where you are standing. Just like you Google Maps, your position will be pointed. Likewise, in your path of the goal, in your path of the reaching the objectives of it, where you are standing, that pinpointedly we can say about it by using the KPIs. That is the advantage. So when you see the market share, the sales of a particular brand vis-a-vis the total sales in the market. So how much this brand has captured the market share part of it into 100. So suppose 10%, 15%, 20%, 80%. Right? New technology and new kind of things and all, they'll have a huge market share initially if it is successful. Right? Now, when it comes to the return on investment also. So profit from the marketing campaign. Suppose you have done a marketing campaign for that. Right? So what is the return on investment? What is the cost that you have put in across in the marketing campaign? Direct costs, indirect costs. As well, beyond that cost, whether you could make any profit or not. How much? Here we talk about a how much percentage. You're on a positive side because you got some kind of a profit. Profit is nothing but over and above the cost, right? So whatever the margin that you got, whether this is sufficient or not, whether this is a sizable or not, whether it is related to, as expected, related to the target or not. That is what is the return on investment that we need to see. Okay. Next, coming to the HR manager, employee turnover rate. I'm talking about the fourth basket, this thing. So employee turnover rate. So by people who have left the organization and the average number of employees in any particular period into 100, the percentage will give you the turnover rate in that particular period. So if the employees are turning around, then what happens is organization's image will come down, the work get hampered, and the cost of recruitment will increase. There are associated things are there. These things, see, this is a lagging KPI, we can say. So this will tell you what is the employee turnover rate in the last quarter, last month, or last year. right? Last 2 years or whatever it is. So you will get to know about the, by doing the post-mortem, you will get to know, understand that what is the employer turnover rate. But it is not that directly affecting the business of it. It is an indirect related things, because it is not reducing any cost, anything. It is just giving an indication to you. But it is affecting your finances in terms of recruitments, re-recruitment or replacing costs, right? Marketing or recruitment costs, whatever that are there, hiring costs that are there. So which will come into that particular thing. Reputation, indirect, very indirect actually. So people are moving out from the company. Nobody wants to stick to that. Nowadays people are on social media platforms. Every company is under radar, under vigilance. Okay, so people surveillance actually. So people are watching them very closely. How many people are coming out and what is the comments they're making, Glassdoor or whatever. Now many platforms are there where people are talking about their companies actually. So the negative remarks or the employer branding is getting ruptured. That cannot be directly put in across the cost or anything else, because its impact is over a period of time and in depth and very intangible for you, for the company actually. So that's where these are all indirect KPIs. Not like a market share, not like any delivery on time, right? These are all not surfaced or very much, I can say, tangible kind of things. These are all having indirect impact. They are tangible, of course, in terms of the numbers, but they are indirectly impacting the organization. Then cost per hire. Cost per hire is another aspect that we would like to see. Again, is the budgets. What is that we are costing towards the hiring of it? Right? So these costs, this is also one of the parameters for the HR manager, that you have to reduce the cost per hire. You have to reduce the employee turnover rate. So HR manager's job will to find out what are the initiatives or new activities or new engagements that he is supposed to do to reduce the employee turnover and to reduce the cost of hiring also. What is the cost effective measures that they would like to go for that? Like employee referral programs or social referral programs, or using the free platforms where you can advertise, like WhatsApp is a free. So whomever that actually you can directly see for that. I mean, you can people who are coming into 1 second. All right. Sorry for the technical glitch. So we have to reduce this cost per hire. We can use the free tools or free platforms where we can increase. We can hire the people from. Nowadays, there is a lot of demand. People are not ready to pay for the recruitment costs actually. They would like to reduce the costs. What can be done? So more of networking which is going on. Even in which also we have started the Enrich HR board, and we have a placement wing also, HR placement, HR talent only we place actually. So we are also looking at the cost effective measures of hiring for the people, for the companies actually. Startups and MSMEs cannot afford to pay huge amounts to recruit good people. They're able to pay well, but they are not able to put across the investment in terms of the cost of hiring. Cost of hiring is too costly. That's where we suggest the people to retain the people at any cost. Don't leave them unless until it is not necessary. Not necessary to retain such kind of people and all. It is up to you, the call for, but at least we suggest the people to reduce the asking them when the people wants to go, actually try to retain them. That is the best low cost activity that we can do. When it comes to the finance part of it, net profit margin, because that itself will tell you about the financial strength of the organization. The net profits versus total revenues, the profit margins, how much you have, right? By selling a product or by selling a service, suppose you are getting 100 rupees, what is the profit that you are getting? If you are getting 30 rupees, 20 to 30% it is there, then your net profits are good actually, right? You can sustain the organization for more amount of time, and you can do many more activities by investing those monies into that. So showing always calculating the net profit margin is the right kind of thing for the finance manager, so that they can ask to increase the revenues or to reduce the expenses, or both, so that the net profit margins can be maintained to sustain the organization or to go for development activities. So that is where the finance manager's role will come into the picture actually. And return on assets. So what is the profit that you are getting out of every asset that you are having? It could be, fixed assets or any other assets you can talk. Even people are also nowadays we are calling them as assets only. So what is the per asset? What is the total profit? I mean, the net profit that you are getting on a total assets actually on an average what you are getting. So return on assets, even on a single asset also, what is the returns that you are getting? You should be able to look into that. It should be positive. Then your assets are being put to use in a right way. That is what a finance manager is. So this is how I would like to give some kind of a glimpse to you to understand the KPIs, how they look like. Because we are going deeper into the subject right now and we are learning about the framework. First of all, we need to understand what is the KPIs, right? Now, this is a KPIs part is there. Now, I mean, if you have any quick questions, you can ask me. Unmute yourself and ask me the questions. Anybody? Did you got to understood? I mean, any of these KPIs part, how they look like?
One thing regarding the project,
Yes,
you mentioned CPI equal to earned value. How to calculate the earned value?
I didn't get you. I'm not able to hear you properly. What is this?
Yeah, I said
CPI?
that. Yeah, in the CPI part, how to calculate the earned value (EV)?
Earned value is the money. See, in IT industry, what happens is the kind of billings that they will do for their customers. Actually, for a particular period of time, maybe for 1 month or something, they'll raise the invoices and they'll get the money for the time they have spent over a project part.
So is this
So the money
only for the IT industry or any type of project?
Generally other type of projects also you can calculate them if you are getting your revenues, how your project agreements are there for you.
But if it is a construction project, say it's a 5 years project, so that I mean the earned value cannot be calculated before completion of the project. Am I correct?
Not every, that's what I'm saying. For those projects, if it is not fitting into that particular industry, please leave it. You need not select this KPI. For
Understood.
certain projects, most of the projects, if it is a long term or short term, there is a periods of payment will be there. So every 6 months, every 3 months, or every stage that they have done their progress in their project, whether it could be a construction, whether it could be anything.
Understood. It means earned value means earned revenue for this
earned revenue, right, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, right.
I have a question. So
Yes.
how do we build a KPI for a training department? So we do have production manager, project, marketing, HR, and finance. But when it comes to training, even though trainers are a cost to an organization, their role comes in as so if you talk about the cost, right? When there is a cost cutting, the first department who is focused upon is the training part, right? Because they always tend to bring down the training levels, training managers or the trainers who are there. And even if they are hiring a training manager also, they look out for the minimal cost. So in this scenarios, how do you build up a KPI for a training department? Would you be able to put some light on that if it is okay with you?
Definitely, Gayatri. That is what is the exercise that we are going to do now further.
Okay.
And to give you answer quickly, if it is a training organization, the entire business is training itself. So there is a cost as well as there is a revenue also in that context. If the context is an organization, in that there is a training department is there as a functional unit. Right? Then you have to see that the employees' skills are improving and thereby their efficiencies are increasing and thereby their performances are increasing. It is an indirect department. It is not directly related to.
So it can be a mix of this CPI and the ROI, or how do you?
No. See, it needs. See, I just want to give a glimpse to KPIs from the different sectors actually. Don't get try to confuse or to get any mincing of these things into it. Don't take it in that perspective. But first of all, in the framework, we will identify and we'll try to capture the KPIs which are related to our field, our industry,
Okay.
our company, our activities. That is a must actually. This is what everybody who is in the actively involving in the developing the KPIs, actually they need to understand this.
Yes, yes.
If it is
Right.
not related to me directly, I don't take up that KPI.
So it
So
is
that's where we are
related. That's
managing.
where I'm just trying to come understand it, because
Got
I
it.
am part of the organizational development part where we need to build in the KPIs and stuff. So I really
Yeah.
would like to understand this when it comes to departments in an organization. How do you build those KPIs?
Right.
So individually, I understood it.
Got that. So usually you understood that. So please
Right.
participate with me in the when I am doing the exercises along with you. So please do
Sure.
participate in that, and then we'll derive that particular thing. And you also, I mean, you only can come up with the whatever the things that are required for you.
Sure, sure.
So you need to get
Mm.
prepared. See, this workshop is to bring some kind of insights to you and more amount of practice that we are supposed to do after the workshop, because within 2 hours we cannot we can get to an understanding of it from the base level to some kind of an understanding. And
Yes.
thereafter, you people who are serious actually into the development of the KPIs, I request every one of you to practice this, developing these KPIs, and check with us.
Sure.
And even we are thinking to have a practice session, because this is where we would like to tell you about the concepts and insights and some examples with you. But you yourself need to do some kind of exercises. Maybe we would like to conduct some maybe some practical sessions sometime later. A workshop will conduct only on preparing the KPIs. That's it. There's no this kind of concept or something else. Directly
Sure,
we'll get
sure.
into practice of those things, right? We will do some kind of a workaround towards that, and we'll have one more online session for that particular thing. Anyway, we are going to be in touch from now onwards. You are part of Enrich HR Academy from now onwards. Okay.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Great.
Ram, I have one question here.
Yes, Chandu. Yes.
Yeah. So while building these KPIs for different departments and different stakeholders, like different people within the departments, so who are all the key stakeholders to be coordinated or involved
Exactly.
along
That
with
is
the
what.
HR men?
That is what. While we are working towards the framework, HR will be the facilitator, and the
Okay.
other department there are stakeholders are there. And what is the role of HR in preparing the KPIs? Also, there is a topic is here. We will
Okay.
discuss.
Okay.
We will
Sure.
discuss.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. We try to turn every stone related to this. Right. Let us see.
Yes.
If at
Yes.
all you
Correct.
have any questions, please do put across your questions in the chat box, and we'll definitely review those things. Now,
Sure.
so when it comes to the KPIs framework, there are 8 steps are there for the performance evaluation. Generally, there are 8 steps have been told actually. So these things are, of course, people have given 5 steps, will have given 4 steps. People will talk about a lot of things and all. So almost like internet or any other medium from which you are learning actually will confuse you a lot. How many are there? How many to be ascertained? Of course, this is the information overload, and opinions and their experiences are coming into different things, but nobody is authenticatively saying that this is what it is, right? We are also making one attempt actually to figure it out and to freeze and wants to say that KPIs framework end to end will be like this. Okay. The first thing is coming to list the performance areas. Any individual from the organization perspective, even then. So suppose you have a lot many goals will be there, but in this year you would like to have only one geographic area you would like to cover, new branch that you would like to start, or one product line or 2 product lines that you would like to make it out. But existing whatever the products are there, you would like to market them and to get more shares into it. These are all at the strategic level. Take those performance areas which are very prominent for you, 3 or 4, not more than that. 3 or 4, not more than that. List those performance areas. Then what you need to do is in step 2 is fix the KPIs. You need to use the SMART criteria. We'll discuss about it. Most of the people that what is the SMART goals and all, right? The criteria is the same: specific, measurable, achievable or attainable, relevant and time bound kind of things. So you need to fix the KPIs. Every KPI must have, every measurement must have these kind of features, or the criteria it needs to meet is the SMART, right? That is what you are supposed to do, which are relevant to this particular thing. Third thing is identify and select the suitable measures for you or the data points for you for this particular period. You have a repository of the KPIs for your department. HR will have hell lot of KPIs that you can derive. Any metric that you are taking, even how many amount of how many times that you have given the advertisements, how many times that you have put forth your job post in the Naukri, that is also one of the measurement, right? Is it directly related to your selection? Nowhere. It is very far distant measurement for you to find it out whether your performance is up to the mark or not. It cannot decide anything. Probably it might be useful for you to see that how many number of applications that you have received, right? Or the right kind of or suitable profiles also, how much that you have received. Maybe probably it has some relevancy. So the relevance is more important. In the SMART, R is the most important. You will select for that particular period, what is the performance areas and what are the goals that you would like to achieve. So you need to select those, identify that kind of measures, the data points that you need to take, right? So collect the data during the performance period. You need to collect the actual data. You need to have a mechanism. That is where we are using the softwares, other tools, dashboards and other things. I mean, to create the dashboards, you need to collect the data first. What data that you need to collect? Suppose I have seen there is a company since working since long time. I don't want to name the company. For 35 long years, they haven't captured their recruitment data at all. For how many profiles that we received, how many that we have got selected out of that particular bunch. Important data they have missed. Now they would like to do analytics. They are not getting any data. But data, I mean, getting the data mining is very different because it has a time. That data becomes redundant. That data might skewed kind of things and all. You cannot take any decision based on that particular thing. I cannot figure it out what is my recruitment performance. Am I able to attract the right kind of people? How much that I can attract the people? How much difficulty or tough for me to recruit anything and all, because it is directly associated with the cost and everything. I do not have any data. That company is, of course, this happened almost 7 years back. That company has realized and started from that 7 years and another 5 years before. From last 12 years, they are collecting the data. Of course, any data which is of 10 years is a very good sizable things to do the analytics and to find out the dashboards and to figure it out whether what is their standards and where they can head for. Now, leading KPIs they can take. They can enhance their performances to their fullest potential part of it, right? So the collecting of the data is very, very important. What data needs to be collected for the KPIs, for the suitable measures part of it. In the third step, wherever it is, in the third step, whatever that we have identified, for which what is the data that needs to be collected is the next. And preparing the dashboards and reports. Put across this data, the clean data, the uniformity that you are supposed to maintain. If you are maintaining the percentages, you have to maintain that class of data into percentages itself. If you are maintaining in averages, if you are taking in decimal points, after decimal, there are two more positions that you would like to take, 0.00, right? So like that, you have to maintain the uniformity of the data. And then with the collected data, you prepare the dashboards and reports. Now it is possible for you to see what is the performance. So he is supposed to reach by 70%, but he reached 55% only. So what is the target? Initially, you have fixed the criteria and identified the things actually. Then you are collecting the data, the actual data that you are collecting and presenting it in the dashboards, putting across in the dashboards and all. You find it out that they are supposed to come to 70-75%, but he is at a 55%. It gives you. Now you can comment on that. Okay, as per the level of that particular person, whether he is a good performer or not. At least he aimed for 75, reached to 55. Is it good for his position? Not for his boss. His boss, it should be more than 75%. Right or not? So the level of the position or the job level at the individual level, right? Or maybe this is the first time that you are conducting in your department. This is the first experiment that you are taking, or first marketing, a different marketing campaign that you are taking into for a particular brand and all, right? So you are establishing the thresholds by preparing the dashboards and all. Once you evaluate and review the performance of it, then you can comment on the performance, whether it is good, bad, ugly, okay, chalega, nahi chalega, all these things will come into picture when you are evaluating it. Then afterwards, if at all there is a target and you are measuring against the target, then there is a performance gap is there. 75% you are supposed to reach, 55 you have reached. There is a gap of 20. Right? Why? And what is the needs that we need to make it on? Now they devise the next course of action, whether training need to be given to fill that particular gap or to replace that particular person or to move into different, transfer him into different other activities and bring somebody else, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the business related decisions that you can take. So ultimately to reach to that decision making, you are using the data, you are using the facts. That is where the KPIs framework will come into picture. Not anything else. Any other aspects will not be more effective than this. In 1990s, Peter Drucker has brought up this particular KPI framework. KPIs were being used from the 3rd century, as I told you, in a different perspectives that people are using it in different ways that they are doing it. But from the modern, business perspective in this era, Peter Drucker has come up with this KPIs framework. He insisted more on the as a consultant or as a business coach. He has asked many people to get into this KPIs framework. Now it is picking up nowadays, and people are understanding this. Right? Still, these things are much more relevant to the any industry. The only thing is we need to understand the perspectives of the performance, and then we need to devise those fixing of the KPIs. Is the what is the skill that we need to learn. Once we have these repositories of the skills, KPIs and all, measure it and find it out. Like when you are going in a car, by seeing the speedometer and the time with the vis-a-vis the distance, speed and time, these 3 things you are correlating and you are trying to figure it out how efficiently that you have drove from here to Bangalore. Right or not? Likewise, for every task, every smaller activities, either in life or business or any particular circle that you are into. So you can use this KPIs framework very well and get the efficiencies into those things. Success can be taken from this particular thing. Okay. Now, let's try to understand this smart KPIs. You all know about this criteria, but I would like to reiterate this. And people who don't know, there are certain questions are there for the people like Bharat and other people also ask, how do we measure the qualitative aspects into it? Sometimes we may not be able to figure it out whether it is attainable or not. Seems to be attainable, but is it, how do we figure it out? Right? Sometimes it might confuse us whether it is relevant to us or not. Right? Just now we have seen whether it is relevant to that particular KPI is relevant to us or not. So those things that we need to fix it up. Not only the goals, but for the smart KPIs also we can fix it. The same similar kind of a criteria that we can see for that. What is specific? Specific is a clear and detailed description of what is that you want to achieve. First, write down what is that you would like to achieve from this particular task or from this particular goal. Make it very clear. Why I would like to use this KPI. What is that I would like to derive? So I calculated attrition rate. But for what? Numbers will tell you, numbers are numbers only. Of course, they tell the truth. Because once you assign a particular meaning to it or a purpose to it, then you will understand the context. Without having the context, KPIs are obsolete. They are just numbers only. I think I'm clear. This point, you please remember this. You need to create a context, business context. You need to create it or create a purpose for that. Then all these numbers appears to be meaningful to you. Otherwise, these things are seems to be numbers only. Percentages, numbers, and all these things. Numerics doesn't have any life, doesn't have any meaning that they are conveying it to you. You have collected the data and you said that number of people left, number of people joined, number of blah, blah, blah kind of things for a particular period. Attrition rate has come to you. Fantastic. But what? So what? 10%. 10% is higher, lower, or is it fine, acceptable, not acceptable? That is where the meaning or the purpose will get created. That's where always, as a HR people, when you are making the KPIs and the prerequisite is to create the context, create the meanings for the numbers. Then it will be useful for you. Coming to the specific part of it, you need to be very clear, detailed description. What is that you want to achieve? Write down. your criteria of S specific has been met. Once you could derive those things. We'll do the exercise, then we'll understand about it. So there is a measurable. This includes a quantifiable metric or a measurement that you need to put it across. Whether can I get the number of profiles, suitable profiles? If I can get that quantify, can I take it out? I can take it out. Because this is the numbers and I can see what are all suitable. There is a criteria of the suitability, and then we can say that this profile can be taken up. So this has been established. It is measurable. It is measurable. And with a target that with the target that you are taking, then obviously again is the target also you can measure. You can measure in its exclusivity. You can identify that and you can measure it, and you can identify and measure it with a target, whatever that you are talking about. Of course, meaning must be there for everyone. That's a basic thing. So this is with as an independent, whether it is measurable or and as well it is measurable against the target also. That is measurable, attainable. It is challenging, but whether it is attainable or not. Suppose I would like to suppose your history and your previous aspects, and the market is also saying that only 10 people you can recruit in a specific 1 week time or a month's time. Actually, you are aiming for 100. Seems to be too much, right? Too overwhelming, too much challenging. It needs to be, suppose 10 is there. Yes, it is the industry average, or industry has till now it has proven that it is only 10. Right? If you are aiming for 12 or 15, it's a challenging target, because you would like to improve your potential, bring it out every aspect of it, keep more attention towards that, do whatever that you are supposed to do, take the help of the teams and everything that you do, by which you can stretch, you can go beyond the horizon sometimes, that you can stretch those limits and can be reaching. That is a challenge, but within your scope. You cannot say that I can place all the people. I'll take the target as 100 people are 100 people will be taken into this, in this Hyderabad office as well as Bangalore and other things. Seems to be too challenging. So make it more achievable or attainable, right? Relevant. Suppose you are into any other recruitment part and all. Don't try to take it out that unnecessary cost per employee kind of things and all. Those are not relevant for you. So as a recruiter, your aspects is completely towards completely towards the recruitment itself. Then other things which seems to be irrelevant for you. Don't try to unnecessarily calculate. Don't try to unnecessarily collect the data. Don't waste your time. So that's where you need to be very much confined and within that particular scope itself. You have to see for that. Clarify your goal. Once you are clarifying that goal, you will get to know about that particular thing. So the industry, the company, and the team, even that must be very much relevant to you. Don't make it any hypothetical kind of things. Don't talk anything about the idealistic conditions. Don't talk about anything else, exceptional cases kind of things. And don't get into those things. Make it more relevant or realistic, you can say. Sometimes people will say realistic also. Then comes to time bound. Time bound is that time must be there. Otherwise, against what you are doing it. Of course, I'll recruit 10 people. But by when? After 6 months? After 10 months? After 1 year? No, there should be some kind of a time bound, so that the efficiencies are the performances can be calculated against the time. That is what is important for us, right? We all know about this criteria very well. I'm thinking because this is a very old and basic thing. This one is. So KPIs also need to be seen from that particular perspective. So now it comes to the even Bharat, you can see that, because I took your name because you asked this question. So there are common measures are there. There are 4 measures are there: quality, quantity, quality, time, and cost. Generally, metrics will come almost towards these things itself. Quality, anyway, that quality of the service, quality of the goods, quality of the outputs, or whatever it is, that comes under quality. Quantity is the numbers against what time and within the what costs actually. So general common measures, that's where I said there could be industry wise specific, some other parameters might come, some other measures will come, some other dimensions might come, but these things are there. And one thing that we need to understand is quantity and quality need to be enhanced. They need to be increased most of the times, and the cost and the time needs to be reduced. If you can see, that is how our practically our KPIs or measurements will take within the less amount of time, lesser with a lesser cost. I need to give the best quantity as well as the best quality. That is what is the performance that we can talk about it. In general, anything will fit into this kind of a parameters itself. Otherwise, you can see. So try to understand this in a very, get these things. So key performance indicators are normally expressed. By now, you understood that what is the basic things. I tried to give you how they look like and other things that we are talking about so far. So probably you might have understood that key performance indicators are quantifiable measures. They will be expressed mostly in terms of the numbers, units, percentages, and observable indicators kind of things. Because that can be measured. Anything that we cannot measure cannot be improved. Right? Agree? So that is the saying is that anything that you cannot measure cannot be improved. So that's where organizations are also wants to measure the things and wants to improve them, basically. Great. Now, anybody very quickly that you can take a small interaction towards this. So anybody has any dimensions or any understandings related to this particular thing, or any comments, feedbacks?
Basically, it's not basically my experience. It's my personal experience. I'm not generalizing it. So what happens is quantity and quality is fine, but what is happening in terms of time and cost, right? Not only cost, but only the time. Okay, because in most of the cases, if they have worked overtime or things, right, that is defining the productivity. Actually, that is very unfortunate, basically, in most of the organization. Because if you work more hours, doesn't mean there is a high productivity rate. That needs to be at least revisited, so that lesser amount even if I work 9 to 5, I can deliver my things. I need not stretch my work hours. But unfortunately, when it comes to the performance evaluation, it's always there. Those people who have stretched their works or who have done the work time are given more importance, and that is where, unfortunately, they are getting more promoted easier than the other person who has only worked within the stipulated time.
Correct, correct. They get highlighted because they are visible in the nights. So in the lights, actually, they'll be visible. So that's why more importance will be given it to them. But that is the fact that initially that I would like to address this particular point through the performance, defining the performance in the organization. Even Narayan Murthy also said that in many of the bigger companies, you need to give an explanation why you are working late, why you are working overtime.
Yes, in terms of in Amazon also they are keeping the ideologies like this. The why you're working more than 8 hours or 9 hours.
Correct, correct, Sunil.
Why? Because the thing is,
You're not able to plan well.
yeah,
That is that
I
factor,
do.
the quality factor come in that particular perspective. Performance.
Ram, I do have a query
Yes.
regarding this the performance level to measure the performance level of a people, those who do work within a stipulated period of time and those who do have not yet done, and they can do, but they do need to stretch their timings to get their desired results. So is there how do we justify to give in terms of keeping an a KPI, the key performance indicators, and measure them in terms of.
Right, got that. So the time element you include in the KPI within this particular period when you have done. That is what is measured as the performance part. So definitely across the industries, across the world, different industries, when they are talking about KPIs, there's a time bound, there's a time element is definitely there in that. Some immature companies, some companies which are family run or individually run companies and all, they are accepting these kind of uh, overloads and other things and all. See, if you are not able to plan the workload, there's a company which is there almost 30 years and they are doing fantastic, actually, one of my clients actually, but they are not able to plan their workload well. They don't know how many number of employees they require, how many they require in each department to cater to their customers, to take care of that particular workload, what kind of people they require, how many number of people they require. Kind of people is secondary, forget about that. but they don't know what is the number of people they require. If you are, that's what I'm saying. You are not able to figure out or not able to give the solutions for the basic problems itself. And we are talking about the chat GPT, we are talking about the AIs, we are talking about the automation of HR and everything. And first, Baba, take care of your basic things and then come to the maturity level of automation and other things. When you are adjusting at the ground level itself, at the foundation level itself, how can you expect a big castle that you like to build from the HR systems and other things? Hold on, let's try to figure it out, the basic things, correct them, and then move on. So as a consultants, we are advising the companies how they can move on, and we are helping them actually to move from the basic things to be addressed and to be made it very clear. And we would like to come to that. That is where the JD plays very vital role in that. Job descriptions, even people haven't figured it out, their JDs are clear, job roles are not so clear. The quantum of the
Ram, I do have one query which Bharat has already escalated in the chat box. That's a question number 5. So now the trend is on NPS, the Net Promoter Score. But how we can interlink KPI based outcome to make it more factful for that? So I do need a more, just kindly elaborate the answer for this question, Ram.
Definitely, there is some more that we need to cover, the subject that we need to cover now, and I would like to reserve these questions to a little later after this. Then we can address it. Okay. So then we will see for that. If at all we are, closing by 12 o'clock today, so we will address in the WhatsApp group. I will answer through videos. Don't worry. Okay, I'll answer through videos. I'll not. I'll answer every question. Don't worry. Okay. Right. Let's try to understand more insights, and we would like to get further. So developing the KPIs. Actually, this is the exercise that we are supposed to do. But in terms of in light of the time, I would like to take you through and try to understand. If you have any questions and all, we'll talk in the question hour. Now it is almost 11:40, right? Okay. Anyway. So the performance, we can say that the framework, or you can say this is like a template you can talk about. First of all, we are talking about the performance area. What is a performance area? Performance area is the most significant work area, right? So that is what we need to select. Whatever the job role that we are into, right? This is the performance area. I'm coming to the individual KPIs. I'm not talking. Even you can apply to this to the team as well as the organization also. What are the most performance, the most significant areas, or what are the performance areas you can choose, right? So the most significant ones that we need to take. Then comes the SMART goals, the target sets for the particular period. So what are the deliverables or expected outcomes are there in a smart fashion that we need to talk about. Then comes the indicators, whether you achieved it or not. How do you know whether you have reached to that particular level, or what is your performance, what is the progress? There are indicators. That is what is KPIs, right? So the quantifiable or quantitative measures, whatever are there, relevant to these things and all, write down those things. This is what is the column is of. And then performed values. So what actuals are there? The data, whatever that you have collected towards that, right? This is called performed values against the targets. We can see, if I have to talk to you about the talent acquisition, most easiest way to understand. So that's where I'm taking. It's not because that I'm HR, but of course, definitely talent acquisition is very easy to understand. So talent acquisition is the one of the functional areas. Maybe it is an exclusive job, or maybe as a part of your HR job. It could be a part of your HR. Filling up of the open vacancies is the major goal for the talent acquisition team, right? So we would like the department or that particular function will take care of no vacancies, or to fill the vacancies on time is the major activity, right? That is about the talent acquisitions. If you can take that as a performance area, the SMART goal that you can take is 70%, not 100%. Even according to that particular industry or the company and its brand image, and people are coming, suitable profiles, fixing all those things. Maybe 70% of the open vacancies across the organization to be filled on time in each quarter. So in one quarter, how many vacancies that are getting raised up, out of which you should be able to close the 70% of the positions. That is on time, within time that you are supposed to do it. So now let us see what are the performance indicators that are suitable to this particular thing is a resume as a suitability ratio. So you may have a lot many profiles that comes to you. Every Tom, Dick, Harry might apply for that particular position. But how many are out of total applications or out of total profiles that you received, right? How many of them are suitable? Because that itself sets the qualitative measure of it, quantity as well as a quality. The interview turn up ratio, out of the suitable profiles, how many people have turned up for the interviews, right? So that is also tells about the efficiency of a recruiter, how much he is able to influence to bring them to the interview, what he talked about it. Did he able to talk about like a pre-placement talk kind of things and all? They need to talk about the organization, the entire the work culture and the position, how his career will be nurtured, and all these things that he need to talk to that particular prospect suitable profile, and then he need to make him to come to the interview. The call of 30 minutes or 40 minutes that you are spending over the with the candidate, the quality of it itself brings the results to you, right? So what is that we are, how much time that you spent is irrelevant for me. What is the first, whether you talked about the organization or the job, or you asked him some questions like what is your notice period, what is your total experience, right? What is your salary, other benchmarks, can you come for the interview, whatever, in what fashion that he talks is immaterial, but how many people have turned up is the question. That is where the key performance indicator will come. All these things forms part, all these things we can take the data, but still we would like to see the selected KPI could be interview turn-up ratio and the number of vacancies closed in that particular period and the cost per hire and time to hire. These are all the most relevant KPIs that you have selected. There are umpteen number of KPIs are there in the talent acquisition, but for your company, in your industry, for the target, whatever that you have taken, these KPIs can be taken. Now, where is the data that you need to look at it? So it might be your recruitment, your applicant tracking system, or any recruitment related app, or any application, or else your Excel sheet itself, right? Can give you the data. How many profiles that got suitable out of total how many received, how many got suitable, how many you have called, how many have turned up for the interview, how many vacancies, how many number of interviews that you have conducted, finally how many vacancies that you, how many job I mean offer letters that you have given, how many joined. These are all the data that you need to collect, but the most important these three things are vital for you to talk about the success here. You got it? That is what is called selection. Cost per hire and time to hire. Now, what is the performed values and all? You can take it from your things. You can take it out. Another significant area you can take is employee engagement. I thought I would like to make you the exercises with you, but because of the time constraint, we were not able to move. Okay, but anyway, we'll do these exercises and you practice also. Employee engagement is there to bring the employee attrition rate below 15%. See, employee engagement and retention are the two sides of the same coin. Why you are engaging, why the people need to stay with you, why they need to be loyal with you, because they need to give the productivity to you, right? If not, they'll leave the organization. So how many people are leaving, how many people are staying with you? So there are many measures that you can take. You can take the employee engagement survey, you can take the employee satisfaction survey, you can calculate the attrition rates. You can also see to that on what reasons that people are going. Actually, you can take the feedback analysis when people are leaving, actually, right? Exit interview analysis and other things. There are many factors, many activities that you can do. But when it comes to the SMART goals, your goal is to keep the employee attrition rate below 15%. Right? If at all it is moving out, bring it back. I'm just giving one example of 15%, just a understanding purpose that I have given. So employee turnover rate, how much is there? Employee engagement index, what it is saying, right? Employee engagement is highly engaged, disengaged, right? You know that all employee engagement surveys today. Otherwise, we'll conduct another workshop on employee engagement very soon. So we will learn about all these things. So we are also coming up with a lot of videos and free documents also on this particular topic. So these are all the key performance indicators you will try to identify. You will try to see to that whether the attrition rate, whether we are able to reach this target of keeping below the attrition rate. This needs to be achieved over 3 quarters or 4 quarters, whatever it is that we can see. So 20 or 21 is there, it is coming to 18, then it is coming to 17, then it is coming to 15, and now it is going below. So likewise, you can see every quarter how the things are happening actually. That is how you can see. So this is very much important and very much relevant to your business goals again. Don't worry. So it is adding value to that. Then employee skill development, trainings, right? So madam, she asked, right, Gayatri asked about the employee skill development as part of the organization. As a HR, training is one of the areas that I need to take care of it. You can work on these things. Of course, I thought of making you the exercise, but definitely we can find it out. What is the goal? What are the indicators and all? We will discuss. Gayatri, I'll come to you. Right? If at all we are taking the marketing department or something. So what is a new customer acquisition is a performance area. Getting the new customers. Then what is the smart goal? I need to increase my new customers more than 20%. Now there are 100 are there. Now I would like to make it in this 1 year. I would like to increase it to 20%. They can stay with us. All right, not just coming and going, but new customers that we can. So new business from the customer, existing customers, account mining. People will call it as account mining. With the same customer, we are getting into other projects, other products, other services. They will take from us. Right? New business, new revenues are coming into it. Then also the customer satisfaction. Like this, there are 3 or 4 prominent areas that you can take and try to identify the marketing managers or anybody else into that. And you can devise those performance areas and also see the smart goals, whatever the expected deliverables or outcomes that we can keep for that. And what are the different kinds of KPIs that we can work. Even I thought that I would like to get those things. So total number of new customers that they have come from the different kinds of regions, whatever are there. So what is the value of that particular customer? Significant value must be there. It's not that we have added one customer and he gave one project, but after that he asked us to stop, or he stopped buying from us and all. It's not like that. That cannot be counted as a new customer. So they need to give a sizable, a threshold level business to us, and there should be a continuity towards that. And the customer is a sizable customer. Depends on the industry, whatever, the product and other things. So likewise, you can take the other KPIs from the existing business also. What is the new business, new products that are getting into? What is the percentage of it, right? How much that we have taken from the sales targets? What is the new business that we have taken from the existing customer? Without increasing the extra efforts with the existing customers itself, we are meeting the revenue targets. That's a really great thing. Right? Not the sales target, but the revenue targets that we are meeting. Customer satisfaction. Number of people who are staying with us will give you the new business to you. So whether the customers are there with you, are they satisfied with your products or services? How much you can take a decision of what to improve, what not to improve, all these things that you can take care of, right? So this is how the framework that we can take and try to figure it out. What are the performance indicators, performance area, smart goals, and the performance indicators, as well as the performed values also that you can put it across. You can do the automation at a later point of time, but while fixing the framework, this is what you can take care of, right? Now, Chandrasekhar has asked about the HR's role in the effective KPIs framework. So as a facilitator to all the stakeholders like management, department heads, and the employees, right? So these 3 segments are the people are there. HR will work as a facilitator. What is that they are supposed to do? They need to communicate the importance and the benefits of quantitative measurements, right? Not just observable or anything assumption based or any other things. Let's move from that to quantifiable measures. That's where we need to figure it out. What is the quantifiable measures we can take from your department? Sit with them, communicate with them, convince with them. Ram, what is the problem right now? Things are happening right now. So why do we have to change? This is what a HR needs to communicate to them, that what is the futuristic aspects which are happening, how it is aiding value to the decision making than the current systems, whatever that we are having. So why we are propagating or encouraging people to get into these things. This is what is a communication very effectively. We need to make it to, if required, to management also. First, management buy-in is more important. Then department heads, then comes to employees. Then design and customize the templates. I prepared one thing, right? You can also enhance it to the target. You can write down a lot of things into that. The KPIs, the measures, the data points. You can extrapolate the Excel sheet and you can add more columns according to your needs actually. And you can prepare those templates, make it more customizable when you are going to your department heads to write down those things. Because it is a collective effort. right? Chandrasekhar garu. It is a collective effort. It is not an individual's effort actually. So HR as a facilitator. It's a common activity that we are supposed to have. So some kind of a sessions that you need to conduct, and then you have to prepare this KPIs in the set formats basically, and have the KPIs repository role wise. In each department, you need to have a set of KPIs, and you will select for this particular period to achieve a particular business goal. Right? We are collecting the data for everything, but what is that you need to get into your analytics? What is that should get into your dashboards? What is that you need to get into your reports to see and to present about the KPIs, and what is that? Based on that, you need to take a decision. People are leaving because of the, not because of the because of the culture, not because of the salary. So suppose, so where the problem has come, how to retain these people and all, you need to have other parameters to see. You cannot just increase the salary and you try to retain the one or two people who resigned. Actually, that doesn't make anything. It might be a quick fix for you, but overall organization culture, you need to look into much more parameters, different parameters. You need to select those parameters out of this repository, and then you need to work towards it. So first of all, we need to work and sit across with the department head, write down all the KPIs which can be quantifiably measured against the context. Without context, everything that you can measure, of course, you can collect the data, but it doesn't make any sense. What are the meaningful things are there? So that's where the explanations will come. After the workshop, when we are sending across this, the list of KPIs, we are going to send across a small booklet we'll send across. In that, there is an explanation will be there in that, stating that why this KPI is being chosen and how it is useful for you in a business context. That will tell you. Got it? So the expenses are increasing. Actually, the cost per so and so, or the cost for that particular event or a activity or a particular product that you are spending across towards that. How to reduce that? Why? Because that is making as a becoming a very hard thing for you to carry further. You cannot carry that baggage, so you need to reduce that cost. Then only you can move forward with the customers. So likewise, you will get a lot of context towards that. Once you see all those things and all, you will get an idea about and apply to your work environment. You can by yourself, you can create that repository and create it role wise is always the best session. Then implementing the KPIs framework. Most of the people will do the performance evaluations for the salary increments itself. I'm telling you, there is no relation between the performance evaluation and the salary increments and promotions. We are talking about this last 7 years, and we are advising our companies also dismantle this. Then organization will go its performance aspects very fast. Your salary increments and the promotions will take certain other parameters, like you can cover up the inflation rates every year. Definitely there is one point of increment will be there. You will appreciate certain things what they have done at a different level of performances what they have done. If they have done outstanding, you give them a special and specific one-time gifts or one-time increments or whatever that you can, merit increments or merit pays, one-time pays that you can make it out of. But your salary will go steady, your job will go steady, the responsibilities are increasing, increase the salary to that extent. So the increments and the promotions, these two policies are different compared to your merging with the performance evaluation center. Performance evaluation, performance reviews has to happen, go through every now and then, quarter wise, project wise, activity wise, with the KPIs framework. Actually, that's where KPIs framework has come for the progress to review. So this is a review and taking a particular pause and to make the next course of action. This is a continuous process. Performance evaluation is not an 1 year special FIR actually, or one particular event that we are conducting to increase the salaries and to make it out. But every company's experience is after conducting the performance reviews and all, giving the increments and promotions, whatever is that, still people are resigning, still people are not happy with those things. That is our experience. So there is no point of mixing both the things. Anyway, that's a different topic. We are making another video on that. So that's a different story altogether. But KPIs needs to be continued and they need to be implemented. It is like a journey that we need to go through in the organization across, like marketing campaigns that goes across, or branding that happens every now and then. Likewise, KPIs framework and checking the progress every now and then is the must actually. Right or not? That's great. So automation of the KPIs. I mean, when we can automate, Ram, can we have some kind of a softwares for calculating all these things? Yes, of course. Definitely. You cannot do it by yourself through Excel sheets. Excel sheets might be an initiation to you at a very small level that you can manage. But after that, you cannot manage because you are collecting the data and facts every now and then. The database is increasing for you. But the calculations and the insights and the analytics that you would like to go for that needs definitely some kind of a computer applications are needed. But before opting anything, we are going to suggest you what are the best softwares also for this KPIs framework at a later point of time. But right now, what are the prerequisites that are required for this? Right? KPIs and their measurements can be automated once. When you can do that, once the repository of the KPIs are ready. Without getting that kind of a readiness, what you will do is the software says something and you need to customize, you need to change according to that. Software doesn't work for you. You are working for the software because the software itself has been freezed like this. You'll change your process and systems or your KPIs into that particular thing. Please don't do that. You should not do the reverse engineering and expect a different results. Please don't do that. First of all, you need to get ready with your systems process. I mean, with your process maturity, with your functionality, those things and all. You need to figure it out. You need to finalize them. Then find a suitable application or otherwise customize the application or get it done by some software company. They can make a small applications for you, not a problem. But don't try to build or buy. Then you build according to your needs, especially from the KPIs framework. Right? Don't buy from outside so that you need to listen to what it says. Rather, it is listening to what you say. I think you understood that. First of all, what you need to do is the KPIs must be ready with that, and the sources of data points from where this from different spreadsheets, different places you are collecting the data. From which sources these data points needs to be collected, established and collected. That needs to be established first, and then you have to make the formulas of measurement. I got a number of profiles. I got a number of suitable profiles also. What is that? I got a number of people who left. I have an average of the people. And if it is required for the attrition rate and all, I need to divide by a number of people who left in that particular period divided by the average number of people into 100. Then I get that formula need to be fixed. Even whenever we are giving that e-booklet, whatever we are providing it to you, that contains the formulas also. For every KPI, just like whatever you have seen on the screen in the just previously. So every KPI will have a formula with that. So formulas also you need to fix it up. Then you can get the data modeling can be done according to your needs, and then your KPIs framework will get ready. So don't rush to, in the beginning itself, don't rush to go for the automation or to buy a product or something else. Please don't do that. Even we are counseling, or you can say we are consulting, we are giving a comparative sheets, and we are taking up those cases, and we are suggesting the companies which type of things that needs to be taken. We are also not taking over the call saying that take this particular product, take this this particular aspect. No, we have a technical team which is who are trained and who are very much experienced in this in our team, and they will go and talk to their clients, understand their needs, and then they'll come do the comparison aspects of it, and then they'll send across that details to them to buy if at all they want to buy. Otherwise also they'll also help in terms of making this KPI framework part of it, right? So this is what is there. Then before I get into the question and answer sessions and all, I just want to tell something about quickly about our initiatives in the enrich part of it. So there is a talent placement service is already there with the Enrich. Enrich is an exclusive HR services organization, and Enrich HR Academy is exclusively for the trainings and workshops and the certification models that we are creating. You can get the information from Lavanya, and she'll also give you some information about this. HR Satsang is a free initiative. This is a monthly informal meeting online will be there to discuss the current and future trends. Especially we'll talk about the trends, and this is an online HR network platform. That is HR Satsang is there. And there is HR round the clock. It's a WhatsApp, a WhatsApp group is also being created, but HR round the clock has a 24/7 answering support. It's like a help desk for you. It is a system through WhatsApp, voice, and emails. Just now, it's not only restricted to the group. You can ask directly to the numbers which are being given. You can directly give the WhatsApp text, voice, and emails also. We'll answer for that. HR Insights is which is upcoming actually. The videos on HR topics for the SMEs through our YouTube channel. The videos are getting ready. They'll be out very soon. So on HR topics by the SMEs through our YouTube channel, so that you can get a lot of insights about those things. So that is where it is HR insights. There's empowering HRs. This is HR workshops and the micro learnings which are happening through on specific HR skills building. This is empowering HR is there from the HR Academy as a part of HR Academy. HR Outreach is a very upcoming, and it is a knowledge portal and a ready reckoner. It is a portal basically. You can get the knowledge capsules of comprehensive coverage will be there on every HR function, right? And people management code is also upcoming, which is getting ready right now. It's a weekly HR digest that covers the HR best practices and next practices. We are talking about the HR best practices. One is covering challenges and solutions. One is covering the frequently asked questions. One is covering the HR practices part of it. One is covering the micro learnings. So likewise, we have divided the things into. And there is a HR how to. Also, we are making it out. It's a bite-sized videos. Very short videos will come on how to the things and all, operational challenges, how to do this, how to do that and all. Because upcoming generation and existing our generation also will have a lot of questions, and we'll get stop and stuck on how to do this, right? That's where some other mind also to work with us, and also give some kind of a confirmation whatever we are thinking, or to take us to the next level, and all this HR how to will be useful for us. This is a bite-sized video, so obviously you can check it from your mobiles, and you can also go for that. So these are all the different kinds of initiatives that we are taking from the enrich part of it, and we are seeking your support and utilize these services also. Most of them are free, right? And we are always open to talk to you on all these things. So coming to our question and answers, let us quickly spend some 10-15 minutes on this, and then we can move on to the say close to this particular. So Lavanya, can you please help me? Lavanya or Masrat, can you
Yes,
please help me out in getting the questions or something?
yeah,
Please.
we have some few questions from the participants. Some of them I think they have got cleared during the session itself. But still, if anybody would like to ask the questions, we are open for the question answer session. So we have, I mean, just I'll be reading the questions that have been posted in the chat box, and let me know by your hands up that those questions were answered, and if anything remains, you just continue. That's the first question from Bharat, like how to define a KPI at org level to avoid layoffs, only solution for consulting, I mean, cost cutting. And his point is to say that he wants to avoid layoffs. So how KPIs can be defined more effectively for CEOs and CHROs to ensure no layoffs?
Definitely. HR from the this is a business context area, Bharat, actually. Layoffs is not always a negative. First of all, you need to understand that. To continue the organization, to make the organization lean and wants to go with more powers, and certain things over a period of time gets redundant. So that's where certain operations can be shut off or slowed down, or some projects will be not to take or not to further continue. In those cases, actually, people who are participating in that particular roles, actually, people may be asked to leave. So every time we cannot say that layoff is a negative sense, right? Layoffs are happening because of the, suppose the organization viability towards the finance, it is not there, then organization has no other option. So it is a much beyond the HR's perspective, going beyond that. If it is a performance related, then again it needs to be taken care of, the performance as part of it. Layoff, reducing the layoff, keeping it as a KPI for CHROs and other people, or CEOs or CXOs, whatever is there, is not a right context every time. But yes, definitely, if you want to see for that and to keep this for nonsensical reasons, it is happening and all, then it needs to be taken on a business call, not at this particular level. Not at the KPI level, we cannot do anything, because layoffs are very purposeful and very tangible for the management, and there is a visibility is there for them, and why they are doing it also, there is a context or the reason will be there for the companies. I don't think that the companies will do. Nobody is against their employees. They have
But
established a company, and that's they would like to see.
my point is basically, see, I'm not taking the company name, but there are companies, they are having personal branding and everything. They're MNCs basically. But the thing is, they are having layoffs in high volumes. At the same time, they have good results in the financial in the quarters, and also they have the investment money for the R&Ds and AI related technologies. So where is the gap. I want to just understand
Ah,
how a
that
CHROs can further step in those areas if it is relevant.
definitely that is relevancy will come into context actually. The big MNCs who are financially great and they are very sound, not because of the financial reasons they need to take it up, but they would like to reduce their activities and they suppose now today this question becomes a big debatable if you are taking emotionally, but when it comes to AI, a lot of jobs are will become redundant. There's no point in keeping them. It's not about the financials of the organizations. It is about the process automations. Those process automations are also not required at all, probably. So then layoffs can be taken. So it needs to be taken at the business decision level, not at the KPI level for the CHROs cannot be taken. It is to be addressed at a different level, not at the KPI. That is my answer.
Okay.
Yes, right, great. I'm sorry, but I'm not taking all the questions at a time. I'm taking a question from Devika. How can KPIs be interlinked with other departments' efficiency where there is a dependency on each other?
Very good question. Actually, this is where there are different types of jobs are there. Independent contributors will be there. They are part of certain process or this in a flow of activities, and they are completely coordinating some activities into this. So whenever we are taking interlinked aspects are there, those things must be made as a for both the people. It needs to be as a KPI. While you are figuring it out, what is the performance area, what is the performance area, what is the target that you are taking, it needs to be done. Suppose accounts and finance is there, already systems and process were being taken care of. What they are supposed to do, they need to have a good coordination with the banks, financial institutions, ensure the financial flow. They deal with the different departments, especially HR also. These shared services are completely of a facilitating mode they are into. So then they have to see that the quality of the service, internal service is happening on time or not. So there is a swim lines will be there. Within the departments, there is a swim lines are there. Interdepartmental connections are there. Then tags will be much more useful. Suppose you asked financial information about a particular person who left actually. Any loans that he has taken, because you are supposed to complete is the relieving formalities and other things that you need to take care of it. So you are asked to fetch the information about the loans or any other company side, any loans or anything else that he is supposed to pay back, any damages that he is to pay back, or anything is there that you would like to confirm from them, or you would like to check that information from the administrative department about the canteen, about the travel or logistics related department. You would like to understand any dues are open or something else, whatever. So all these things that you are fetching, there is a tag. There should be a tag within anything that comes to you, like a ticketing model kind of things. This is what you can put it across to. So in the KPIs, you add these tags, then automatically this the coordinations will happen within time, right? Because of the people efficiencies, people's lethargy is different, but the system itself puts them on a correct these kind of things. Rather fighting with the people, try to implement the systems. That is the solution that comes.
Okay,
Yes.
understood. So basically, what I understood is that people need to come out, if there is interdependencies with each other. So people need to come out and tell that, that we have dependency on the some other function so that the
Yeah.
KPIs can be set for both the divisions accordingly.
That is where the JD plays a vital role.
Correct. Correct.
So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Most of the companies are not fixing their basic thing is job description is not being written right way. Most of the people don't know how to fix the how to write the JD. They'll
Yeah.
write only the responsibilities and they say that my JD is over. So it's not like that. So there is a proper way of writing JDs. The first thing that when we are doing the consulting for the companies and all, we make sure that their organization structure is built well. I mean, the clearly representing the exact status of it, and as well the job descriptions for each departments how they are doing. So that interlinks also we will get to know the dependencies. So that is the primary activity that we are supposed to do. Then fix the tags and reflect those tags in the KPIs framework. Automatically things will go in a smooth. Right.
Great.
Sure, thank
Yeah. Thanks, Devika. Hope your question got answered. Next, we have a question from Durga Prasad. How we ensure individual contributors versus team performance effectively?
Very good question. So for anything, KPIs is the framework itself will work for them. Independent contributors are there. Again, they'll have performance areas. Again, they have a target actually, or something they are supposed to, expectations to complete or to achieve. And again, their measurement of their progress will be there, whether it's an individual independent contributor or he is associated or in the part of the process. In any part of the process or different processes also, that he is the kingpin. Administrative people are there. They'll be doing different kinds of things in that. So they'll also fit into these KPIs. Just now, Devika Garu also asked the similar kind of a question, that how do we, the tax, interrelated kind of things and all, that we need to fix it up. And then accordingly, we need to go for that. It is all about the job description, what you write. The fundamental document which you need to write is the JD. Yes.
Great. Hope your question got answered, Durga Prasad Garu. Next, coming with Indumati ji's question. What is the role of strategic HR here, and how SMART goals can be created for all KPIs? Is it possible?
Come once again, I'm sorry.
What is the role of strategic HR here, and how SMART goals can be created for all the KPIs? Is it possible? Of course, SMART goals you already have explained.
Right.
Possibility part.
Strategic, absolutely strategic. From the strategic itself, it will descend down all the things and all. And that the strategic KPIs creates the context for the unit level and the operational level KPIs actually. So it descends down from that. Strategic KPIs for the CXOs, C-level people and the management basically. So that is where we have to fix this. Strategic is nothing but the long term. Long term, whatever that you would like to achieve, for which you need to do small baby steps from today, right? So from there itself, you are figuring it out. From the reverse engineering, which you are making it out, so that's where we'll get to know what is that we need to do today. To 1 year, after 1 year, sorry, after 3 years or 5 years, you need to achieve something. What is that you are supposed to do then in 1 year span, in the 6 month span, in the each quarter, in this month, in this week, and today? That is how it comes. Backward calculations and the KPIs, the parameters. See, understand, KPI is not a performance aspect. It is measuring the progress. KPIs are exclusively very effective for the progress, where you are standing, whether you are going in the right direction, and whether we are going with the right speed or not. If we are going with the same kind of a speed, whether we can reach it or not. So it's like when you are going actually, I mean, on a business trip to Bangalore or something, or on trip to Bangalore, you will stop and check at different places, right? So there are milestones where you can stop, look back, and proceed further. So that is the kind of a mechanism where the KPIs framework also similarly it will give it to you. So you are going in one direction and you are checking, stopping there and pause for a moment and to see, verify with the KPIs whether you are going in the right direction or not. If I do with the same kind of a speed of the number of calls for the customer care, right? Can I achieve today's target, this week's target, or this month's target? And what is that I can make it out on that? Whether I can perform it better in this month or not, or a quarter, or a year, whatever it is. So there is a strong link is there between the strategic and the operational. Those are all not different. Those are all the small parts of the bigger chunk. Same parts, same DNA, same features, same activities, similar things actually. Right? Strategic is a bigger and larger vision, but you are coming up to your microscopic vision. Right now in this hour, what is that I'm supposed to do? That is what is the operational care. It will, right? Now, next.
But then we have, I mean, it's already 12:15. We have two small questions. I think you can answer quickly so that we can.
Anybody wants to interact? Let's put them onto interaction or any questions are there?
Yeah, from them only. These were the questions. Those were being noted down during the session. So if anybody wants to ask directly during now here itself, then you please come on. You can unmute your mic and ask the questions, please.
And any questions which are being left over, don't worry. I'm going to answer each and every question because this is already recorded and we have the information also, so that we will come back to you and we will answer each and every question and we'll put it across to you. Don't worry.
A few more are left, but not very much this one too.
So one question, basically, this is just a question based on the current trend. Okay, so I have been observing the things, what is happening in the market, in the HR space, as well as on the digital space. So I come across one ad. I am not demeaning anything, but there is an ad where boss is firing other people and only keeping the person who is using ChatGPT as one of the source for performing. So it's actually giving a wrong message in the context of HR. So how we can, as an HR, any tips how the HRs can ensure that the digitalization will not overshadow or overpower the human centric approach?
Definitely. I answered this question many a times on many of podiums actually. And the HR automations, HR softwares, ATS, and all these things are coming since last 10 years. Very, so aggressively they're coming and they're capturing the markets, and people are worrying about it. See, any technology cannot supersede the human beings, humans elements with the work to be done, right? There are certain positions which are communication related. So the the manufacturing and other things, whatever things are there, that will happen. Those businesses will be there. So people are working. Definitely they need HRs. Now, HR automation which is happening will reduce the load of it. The data analytics and all these things which you can do, HR analytics, you can do very efficiently. To that extent, you can use these tools or any other things. But the human touch, or anybody who is working, even people are not so comfortable working from home. And of course, for other reasons, people are supporting the work from home. But HR must be there. Somebody has to fill that vacuum, and somebody has to talk with the people. And not all the industries have that much automation possible, that much robotic aspects will come, that much of aspects, the faster pace it will come into to take off the HRs from the system itself. It cannot happen as it is. So as a HR, you need not worry about it, but adapt the changes. Even today I'll use ChatGPT, right? I'll make my contents much more appealing to the people. Earlier I used to do a lot of homework for 15-20 hours on a particular workshop preparation. Now I'm not spending not more than 56 hours because of the chat GPT. So it is increasing but somebody has to take care of the workshop, somebody has to train you, somebody has to teach you on those things, right? Some human elemental activities there. Probably our way of expressions, our way of working might change, but we cannot, HRs will not be there into the system and all. This is completely a wrongful thought actually.
Yeah, but that is unfortunately that is a misconception happening.
Put a comment,
Propaganda.
put a
Yeah.
sensible comment over there, not to hurt anyone. Just put a comment, say something about this in a positive way.
Yeah.
Let us grow with the chat GPT and other things,
Right.
along with the automations.
Human centricity, a perfect balance between digitalization and human centricity.
Absolutely. Without that,
Yeah.
it is not possible. Even those applications and other things are also being driven by the humans itself, right or not? And the intelligence, whatever artificially that is getting created, we are utilizing it for better decision making, so for betterment of the life, not to take off the things. Certain positions like digital marketing and other things might not be there. So today, if you see, because of the automation and other things, their jobs have been changed. That doesn't mean that there is no jobs at all. You need to learn new skills and you need to move on to that. Even
Yeah.
HR also need to learn some technical skills and they need to move on.
Yeah. New jobs will be created by AI.
Absolutely. We need to be ready to adapt the things.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, Bharat, for more interactive kind of things and all. Thank you, Devika Garu. Thank you, Chandrasekhar. Thank you, Shiv Prasad Garu. And everybody in this chat room, in this workshop. Thank you so much for giving your valuable time. And I must thank my team for enabling this, Lavanya as well as Masrat also. They have supported me a lot to conduct this particular thing. And thanks to my digital marketing expert, who is there, Mr. Jogesh. Now he is not here. So I'm so much thankful for all of them, and especially for you again and again, for sparing good amount of time and encouraging us to take up such kind of things. Definitely, we are going to have more sessions in that. I think Lavanya will create a new group or whatever. I don't know. She'll be in touch with us as a group. So we are going to extend these kind of discussions to come into, and we are just the beginning of it. So we are going to discussed a lot many things from this particular thing, right? So thank you so much and have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Thank you.
1 minute, 1 minute. Before we close, I just want all of you to interact with the feedback session, and you will be redirected to a feedback page. You just take a moment and just answer those questions. In case if you are unable to do that, you will receive the same feedback form on your email IDs, and you please share that to us.
Great.
Thank you so much.
And